flows.
And finding the world's exotic locations at the video store. WTN Weekday, Everyday Matters. Hi, everybody. Welcome to WTN Weekday. I'm Donna Holgate.
And I'm Janice Mackey, and today, one big adventure.
I know.
And the beauty of it is we don't have to leave home, pay for a sitter, board the dog, or find parking at the airport to feel well traveled.
Very true. We'll take a trip to the edge of the ice floes in Canada's Arctic, speak to a woman who's visited Baffin Island on many occasions, and she'll tell us all about her experiences.
And our movie guy, Cameron Brown, is going to scratch the travel bug, so to speak. He has some video suggestions of movies that were filmed in really exotic and beautiful locations.
Oh, it's going to be a great show.
It is.
But first, to be a well-informed traveler is to be a safe traveler, and this is the premise behind this book, A Globetrotter's Guide. Co-author Carol Delinko, who's been to actually over 60 countries, is here to join us to tell us about your inspiration for writing this book and those wonderful travels that you've had. Welcome to the show.
Thank you.
It's really a pleasure to have you on now. First of all, over 60 countries, and you've done this on your own.
Yeah, I actually started out when I was 18 and headed off for a 4-month trip, and extended itself to 8 years solid travel, and then have continued on for the last 7 years, adding probably another 40 countries, 30 countries to the list.
And you've done this by yourself?
Yes.
Okay, now we have some wonderful photographs that you've taken.
Yes.
You're a pretty good photographer.
Thank you.
And we just want to look at some of the people that you've encountered in your travels, and they're going to come up on the monitor. Who are we looking at?
This is a lovely little girl that I came across in a Maasai village in the middle of Kenya, and I was actually staying with a Maasai family, which was quite an experience because, of course, I had to put away my own little comfort zone and stay in these mud homes and eat ugali, which is a maize meal, and just experience like these people experience life every day.
What a great experience.
It was wonderful.
Okay, now, what are we looking at here?
Again, this is a little Peruvian boy who was at one of the sites outside of Cusco, and he was there actually with his mother, who was also in traditional costume. And like with most tourist sites, whenever you go there, these people that are dressed in indigenous costumes are not there just by chance. They're there so that you can photograph them to make money. So you do have to pay these people for photographs. It's a courtesy.
This is how they make a living.
Absolutely.
And especially the children, I find, when I travel, they seem to have the children going out, because you can't really say no to the children.
Absolutely, and sadly enough, around the world, a lot of kids are, set out to work and are not allowed to return home until they've sold a bundle of postcards and such. So do support these kids. It makes a difference in their lives.
Okay, now we have a few more to look at.
Oh, this is a lovely woman that I came across in Tanzania, and I was in a car that had just broken down on the side of the road, and out of nowhere this woman just came out walking down the road with such a force and stride. It was wonderful to see.
Now, advice. Let's just talk a little bit about women traveling on their own as far as what are the things that we should be careful of?
Well, there's a lot to be careful of whether you leave home or stay at home, actually. I think as a woman going anywhere, you have to have an air of confidence, which always makes it a lot easier to travel anywhere. So if you walk down the street like you know where you're going and you're not afraid, you're not timid, I don't think people are going to look at you as much. You're busy. You've got somewhere to go. So I think having that air of confidence definitely helps.
Well, now, there are a few countries that you mentioned in the book that the men seem to be rather interested in women that are different, women they're not used to seeing. Let's talk about Morocco, because something very interesting happened to you there.
Well, I think first you have to understand that in some cases as a foreign woman traveling, you're a picture of the unobtainable. And all that they see of foreign women is the women that come into their country or the women they see on the movie screens or in record albums and that sort of thing. So when you are in their country, they think that in some cases you're, the unobtainable, this picture of wonderness.
Yes.
And so they'll whistle and they'll hiss and they'll try and pinch your bum, and it's all very cute and interesting for the first minute. And then after that, it becomes really hard to deal with after a while. And I'd been in Morocco for about 3-4 weeks at that point when this happened to me, and I was walking past a cafe. All of these men, same thing, they were whistling, they're hissing, and I thought, I have had enough of this already. I sat down at the table with a group of 5 guys.
You joined the hissers and the hecklers?
I joined them. I had enough of that. So I sat down, and at first they were so stunned that I had actually, looked at them.
Had the nerve.
Oh, yeah. And I sat down and I said, do you want to talk to me? Do you want to have coffee with me? Do you want to get to know me? I said, this is not the way to interact with a foreign woman or any woman. Really, if you want to talk to me, you can ask me out for coffee, or you can, pull me aside politely.
What was their response?
They sat there stunned. They didn't say a thing.
It's funny how they became speechless.
Oh, yeah, but sadly enough, I got up from the table, and about 2 restaurants down the road,
started again?
It started again. So, I mean, did it do anything? No. But did it make me feel better? Absolutely. It just empowered me to say that.
Well, that's the important thing. We're going to go back to some of the wonderful experiences through photos that you've taken. We're going to have a look at this.
A lovely woman from one of the northern tribes in Thailand chewing something they call betel nut, which actually is a stimulant for the gut, so that you kind of fool your stomach into thinking that you've eaten.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Now, what are we looking at here?
This is in Kathmandu, just outside of Kathmandu in Nepal, and it's a wonderful temple, Bhaktapur, with some flags. Here we've got one in Argentina, and this was actually Walt Disney's home, funny enough, and this is where he got inspired for the movie Bambi.
This is where he wrote the movie.
This is
the story.
Yeah, and this is in Buenos Aires, Argentina, San Telmo, a wonderful area in Argentina where all the arts are, the artist district. And this finally is in the Sahara Desert in Timbuktu. I was being taken out into the Sahara on a camel trek.
You know what I'm curious about? You've been to so many places.
Yeah.
Tell me if there's ever been an experience that's been, kind of scary. Anything that you...
There's a couple experiences that have, got me afraid, but I changed the dynamic of the situation, so it wasn't so scary in the end. I'd been picked up with a girlfriend in Israel, actually, in Eilat, and we were driving to what I thought was going to be home where we were staying. And these guys all of a sudden took a wrong turn, and I thought, this is not the way that we're supposed to be going. And my girlfriend and I looked at each other, and I thought, this doesn't look good.
No.
Uh-oh, what have we gotten into? And we thought, all of a sudden, let's change this dynamic. So instead of putting ourselves in the position where, oh my God, what's going to happen to us, we thought, what's going to happen to these guys? And we said, take off your shirt. And they turned around and looked at us in the back seat, and they were so stunned. They were, what? We said, take off your shirts right now. And all of a sudden, we had become the aggressor. They were so freaked out, they slammed on the brakes and kicked us out of the car.
Way to go. Now, obviously, you're not advising everybody to do that.
Definitely.
But the key is what, being confident and being strong.
Yes.
Couple practical tips before we leave.
Never invite intimacy unless you're absolutely positive that that's what you want to do. A lot of times intimacy in a foreign country is more than just intimacy. It could actually be a prelude to marriage, which you're not aware of. And if you are going out, don't sweep all men with the same brush and assume that they're all going to be these, gigolos or trying to hit on you. Some men just generally want to talk to you and have fun with you. So go out there and have fun, and don't always keep your guard up. Enjoy the time that you're away.
Well, over 60 countries, you're very happy. You sound like you've had a ball, and
I've
we
had a great
thank you for
time.
coming on. Great advice.
Thank you.
Over to you, Janice.
Hey, Carol, you ever seen the big Ukrainian Easter egg in Vegreville, Alberta? I've got one on ya! Don't unpack your bags quite yet. When we come back, we're going to go to Canada's Arctic, and we're going to have some movie suggestions from Cameron Brown about really exotic locations. We'll see you in a couple of minutes. And the Wawa Goose.